Coming up next, let me tell you, folks, I've been trying to interview this personality for the last 19 years, man. Even before the show started, I wanted to interview her. Show some love, man. and I call myself the king of prime time, but compared to her, I can't even say she's the queen of radio. She's the goddess of radio. Put your hands together. Show some love for Doreen Andoh. Hey.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. All right. Show some love, man. Woo! Finally, she's here.
Don't be me.
Doreen, I've been looking for you for the longest.
But now you found me.
I found you, and you're looking, oh my goodness, charming.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. How does it feel, man? You just celebrated 20 years on radio?
I'm always rolling ready, so I feel like I was just born yesterday.
You look like you look like that too.
But it feels good. It feels good.
So, Joy FM, I guess that was the first private radio.
Yes.
Yeah, and you started with them?
Yes, about a month and a half after they started,
Wow.
I started.
How did you start?
Okay, around the time when Joy FM started, I had just finished writing my Second World War of A-level.
Okay.
So I was getting ready to go to the university, and basically there was nothing to do, and the lecturers were on strike, so I was looking for a job. So I said, well, this sounds good. It sounds like something that I could do. Prior to that, I had helped my sister around with campus radio on Tech Campus. Okay. So I thought, oh, it should be fun. So I wanted to try it, and I knew a gentleman who was related to Kwesi Chum, Junior Chum of blessed memory. Okay. So I went and spoke to him, and he said, okay, meet me, and let's go and talk to Kwesi. The first day I got there, they gave me a newspaper bulletin to read. I read it, and they said to me, well, come back tomorrow. So, and that interview was done by Kwesi Chum, Brigadier Chum of blessed memory, and Tommy Ananforson. Wow. So basically, they said to me, come the next day. The next day when I went, they sat me down and gave me news written in pen on pieces of paper around maybe 10:30 in the morning, and they said, well, practice it. I said, okay. Around 5 or 10 minutes to midday, they came to me and said, well, you're reading the news at midday.
Oh, my goodness.
All sorts of butterflies were growing in my stomach, but I had to say my most powerful prayer and say, Doreen, you got to kill this. So I went in there, I read the midday news, and when I walked out, they were all clapping. And that was the beginning of my radio career.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
I just somehow thought you started with music and...
No, I've always loved music. It's only because I listened to a lot of music, but I always loved music. And I didn't even go there to do any... I just went there because I was looking for a job.
For something, yeah.
And I thought maybe a holiday job will do before I started university. So that's how I got
Really?
there.
So you read the midday news?
Yes, I read the midday news that day. And then they said to me, well, you're going to have to come every day and help us read the news.
I guess you're hired.
And the announcements, and I guess I'm hired. They asked me for an audition tape. My question was, what's that? But anyways, yes, so the next day I went back, and then they had to, bring Mr. Sam Yeboah in to start teaching us the right pronunciation of words. And then I had to be reading some more and polish up my act. And then my love for music also drew me to the guys in the building. Gabi Ajete, Marco Krekumanse, Samaklu. I used to hang with them all the time. And they were doing a Saturday show called Back and Forth. But there were two guys playing fourth, which was the new music. And it was only Gabi playing back, which was the old music. And I knew a lot of old music. So I said, Gabi, why not, help me, tag along with you? He said, oh, no problem, you're welcome. Okay. So I learned a lot of, the rudiments and everything from Gabi, so to speak. And then, by and large, I became part of the Back and Forth family. And then it was one thing after the other. And then 20 years went by, and thank God we're here today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's such a... I guess. So when did you move to the mid-morning?
Well, all of this happened in about a month or two, really. There was a lady called Wendy Mamata who used to do the mid-morning show. And she walked out one day for no apparent reason. And there came the opportunity. Doreen, do you want to try it? I'm like, yes, why not? And so I started trying it out. Of course, I had help in the beginning, and then after a few months, I was left by myself, and I had to do it and do it well.
And you're still doing it.
I'm telling you.
Still
it's
doing
by
it.
the grace of God, man. I don't know how I do it.
Wow, wow. There are so many young ones listening who they want to be on radio,
I know,
you know.
right?
They want to be like Doreen.
I know.
What do they have to know?
Well, I always tell people that it's always good for you to go back to school and learn the right thing, because we have been bombarded with a lot of things around us, and we think it's right, meanwhile it's wrong. And so I always say to people, go back to school, study your journalism, or your public relations, or whatever you really need to study, because then it will broaden your knowledge and let you understand what the world really is about.
That's a lot of, and you listen to a lot of radio.
Yes.
What's right with what's going on now, and what do you think needs improvement?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, and this is no offense to local language speaking radio stations, because I realize that, first of all, we get a lot of challenges from there because we think we're speaking in a local language, and so we are at liberty to say any and everything that we wish. But in actual fact, our elders will tell you that there's a little more decorum. You have to have a little more decorum in your language, because even though you're speaking a local language, there are younger people who are learning too.
Yeah.
And so you have to also be able to speak well so they understand our local language well, so that they can also speak properly. So for me, language is key, be it a local language or the English language. And then we'll probably move to all the other things that are in it.
Show some love. but here again, when we are talking about radio, to the goddess of radio, what is the role of management? Because putting somebody on air has gone through a management approval.
Right.
You know, is it because the managers don't care or don't know what the standards should be, or what do you think?
I think, first of all, some of these owners of these radio stations are people who probably just have the money and do not have the wherewithal, or do not understand the real meaning of radio, because radio is more like a teaching tool, so to speak, so that if you understand that the people who you're hiring to work for you should be better teachers, you should also be able to invest a little money to train these people, be it a local language or the English language. So training is key, and it's my hope that radio station owners will understand that training their staff will go a long way to build their radio stations better. We need more training than anything else. I'm beginning to sound like a teacher.
Well, I agree with you perfectly. You know, there's this incident where this guy is on air and doing a program. I don't know whether it was a reggae program or something, you know. So while on air, there was breaking news, you know, and it was about the house on fire, so he was supposed to announce it, you know. And, hey, fire the barn, you know, mixing it with the music, you know,
right?
And really having a good time announcing, you know, this is what we are talking about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for us, I mean, no disrespect to reggae guys, but I mean, if he knew exactly what he was doing, he would take a quick break from the fire the born situation and come back to reality and say, listeners, there's a fire in X and Y place, and we need, instead of the fire born, but fire no born anybody. I know.
So, every day, what gives you the freshness to go to the job? What do you look forward to doing?
I know. I try to put myself in the position of my listeners. So I usually like to place myself on the other side of the radio and say, what would people like to hear today? What would be exciting? What is it that they have heard 3 weeks ago that they don't want to be repeated? And so I always try to run away from repeating stuff, and I always try to come at people with something new, something exciting, something that will catch your attention. That's what I try to do, be it the music, be it the information, be it my sense of thinking or humor or whatever it is. I mean, my humor is kind of crazy because they see I'm funny, but that one is another story for another day. But hey, that's what I try to do, because it's tough. Because you can't even imagine what people are thinking and what they want to hear. But you try to get into their minds and you try to keep them there. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not
Have you had a
easy.
worse experience? Something that happened on air or something radio related that?
Oh, not necessarily. I always have this thing at the back of my mind that says that whenever you lose your step in the dance, add it to the rhythm. And so whenever I lose it, I try to do a quick comeback so that maybe you might realize that sometimes when I make a mistake, I probably say, oh, today is the 21st. And then I'm like, oh, no. I've missed 4 days already. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be 24th or 25th.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, Doreen, you're so dumb.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I had to just, I always try to get my comebacks
Yeah.
in good order just so that I don't look that stupid.
Yeah.
I try. I only try.
Have you learned on the job and become better on the job, or did you do some separate training in radio once you started?
I did training in my 3rd year of radio. I did training, but I think that I've learned a lot on the job, and I think that I've also learned a lot from the people that I work with, and the industry has also taught me a lot. And so I will say that both the classroom work and hands-on, I have learned a great deal.
Let's talk about the industry.
Yes.
It's like almost cluttered.
Very much
Or is it
so.
overly cluttered?
Overly cluttered maybe would be the right word. Overly cluttered.
Yeah. So from where you sit, you've seen it. You've seen the whole growth.
Right.
What is your assessment now?
I do agree that it's overcluttered, but maybe when we also try to look at it from another dimension where we can all win, we can start looking at, trying to play in a field where we find our strengths. So that if you think that doing radio for women would be a good thing because we don't have anything like that, but you could have women doing the work, women in the managerial system, women managing the engineering and everything, that would be great. Now, basically, your topics, your music would also be, and of course, what you discuss would also be geared towards women. And then you probably also use that to help women in the society. We can also do something about teen radio, where we can use the teenagers, where in that same vein, we're trying to grow them to be able to help us in the main industry.
Let's say you get a call after the show and somebody says, look, I have so much money. I was looking for somebody to come up with an interesting, fascinating concept like Doreen did.
Right.
So they call Doreen.
Yeah.
They're going to give you plenty of money to poach you from multimedia to start a woman's radio. Would you?
Well, forget about the poaching, but I will leave on my own accord. But I mean, it would definitely be a good thing to think about and say, you know what, let's do this, because I think it's about time we got something like that. It would be exciting. I can imagine the number of girls who would definitely like to have a holiday job in a girl radio station. I'm sure that the women will also have their bit to share on a radio station. So
well, you'll be getting that call.
But of course, we'll wait for it. But it sounds exciting. It's something that I've been, throwing back and forth in my mind for a while now. So we'll see.
Yeah, you'll be getting that call.
We'll
and then
see.
We'll hear it first here when you get a call.
But of course, I'll have to come back and announce it, right?
So I want to get personal, but just before then, the mid-morning slot has become very tight now, and it's very interesting. Almost everybody's like going now for a woman for the mid-morning,
Yeah.
So there's Doreen, there's Jessica. No, Jessica doesn't do the morning anymore.
She does a drive.
She does a drive now. But, well, how do you feel that you're now competing? The competition has become stronger from back when you started to what's happening today in terms of that slot?
I love the competition. The competition makes me wake up to realize that there's work to do out there.
Yeah.
And so I like the fact that the competition is there. It makes me a tad smarter and a tad quicker than I probably would have been a couple years ago. So it's good. I like it. And I think it should stay that way. Don't get offended.
If on your day off, who would you listen to mid-morning?
On my day off mid-morning, I'll tell you the honest truth, I'll be sleeping. I'll probably be listening to a CD. But that doesn't mean that I don't listen to everybody. I do. I like to just go through the radio stations and listen to what people are doing. So, don't take it personal.
Yeah. How do you relax, Doreen? I mean,
How I relax?
Yeah.
I like a good laugh. You probably will notice that my sense of humor is totally out of here. So I like to watch a lot of comedy.
Oh, you do?
Yes, and I watch a lot of movies, so to speak. I love my garden, so I do my gardening too when I'm free.
You do gardening?
Oh, I love my
Really?
garden. It's small, but it's just the kind of size that I can deal with, right?
Yeah.
I like to swim. I listen to a lot of music. That is, it's like, you know, it's part of my skin. I read a lot, and the reading is any and everything I come across. I read it.
Yeah.
So be it trash or whatever. It's just so that you broaden your knowledge on a lot of things. Sometimes when I tell people what I read about, it's weird. And my parents will laugh now because when I was growing up, I didn't like to read.
Okay.
I would like to work with numbers. And I'm like, oh, let the reading people deal with their reading, you know. But I read, I swim, I love my garden. And I do a lot of that, actually. And I like to watch a lot of movies and listen to my music.
Great.
And hang out with my crazy friends.
And are you single?
Yes, I am.
There's this. Is there a problem here?
No problem, guys. No offense, please. I'm just happy single simply because so much trouble in the world.
You don't want to add another one?
Yeah, you don't need trouble to add to your problems. You know, Charlie, I'd rather and enjoy it that way. It's better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You tried it before?
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, I date, I hang out with my friends, but really and truly, the whole relationship trip is another one that I would talk about another day.
Somebody said, well, marriage is an institution, and nobody wants to be institutionalized.
You see that one? No offense, folks.
No offense.
No offense, folks. But we'll try to, you know, keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yeah,
Keep it simple.
yeah. You know, there's this, I don't know whether it's a myth or this belief that the ladies in media, you know, men are either intimidated. And,
Well,
do you find that?
well, I don't know what people would think, but and not because I don't know and I wonder what people would think, but I will still say what I think, that a lot of African men are very intimidated by successful women.
Really?
And yes, and I have come across it, I have experienced it, and probably I'm talking from experience. I think they're intimidated, one, and two, sometimes it looks as though some of them are just beginning to hate because they think, oh, she behaves like she knows everything. But it's not because I know. When I'm right, I'm right. And if you have a problem with it, well, tough. You know, but, yeah. I never win, so I wouldn't try. I wouldn't try.
And your sense of humor, you know, is it like, who do you watch comedy-wise? I mean, what's your favorite movies?
No, I will watch a lot of stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
now, that's my thing.
Yeah,
the comedy movies, yeah, I'll probably come across
them
and watch it. But I like the stand-up. The Black Americans, though, oh, gosh. There's this chubby Black American guy. I forget his name.
The short one?
When I remember his name, I'll tell you. There are numerous ones that I watch, you know, I just listen to. But you see, one person who actually ticks me is Tyler Perry, because he has a sense of humor that I adore.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, you probably won't see him on stand-up comedy, but anytime he opens his mouth to speak and playing the typical Madea part in the movie, just listen carefully to the trash that comes out of his mouth. It's so hard to hear, man. I think he is absolutely wonderful. I just admire the way he, you know, he goes into it and talks the way his real people would talk. And I also admire Nigerian humor. Some of them, especially when they speak in their pidgin language.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, they go crazy. But that's fun. That's fun too.
That is so cool. So what's beyond? Or are you now calming down? You've done your 20 years. You're very
What are you talking about calm about? Calm doesn't calm.
Calm doesn't calm. Calm is not the question.
They say life begins at what? 40, and I'm only 20. Why am I counting?
Oh, there you have time, man.
Please, I got a lot
Show
of
some
time.
love, man. Show some
I got a lot of time. I'm at the moment trying to work on a lot of a few TV shows.
Oh,
because
okay.
I've always wanted to do that, and I've done a lot of stuff on paper, but I'm trying to put them out there so that people will see. And the only challenge is it just entails a lot of money. Congratulations, man, because I've come to realize that it costs a lot of money to put all of these shows out, and it's really not easy. And coming across sponsorship is, you know, it's
Tell
also
me about it.
another part of the equation that you don't want to encounter. So it's tough, but I'm trying to, you know, put a couple of things out there. I'm just looking for sponsorship now.
Okay.
But yes, probably TV production is my next thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wonderful. Show some love, man. Show some love. One person I'm trying to get to sit where you're sitting who has been giving me stories. I hear it's only you that can convince this person to come.
Mention the name.
Kwesichum.
Oh, you don't got a problem. You see, Kwesi's thing is he doesn't speak into a microphone.
I know.
So if you are going to speak into a melotin,
Then maybe you come. Sound. Can we find something else other than
a microphone?
A microphone?
Yes.
Then
If
maybe
it's
I
a
can
melotin.
invite. I've been chasing questions.
No.
Like I've been chasing you.
You know, Kwesi hasn't got a cell phone. So why you expect that you talk into a microphone? I mean, no, please. He hasn't got a cell phone. Microphone, double matter, he won't do it. He won't do it.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have to wait till one day when you push him in some corner and say, Kwesi, one kaza be cool.
I might just be good. Well, Doreen, thank you so much, man. 20 years.
The pleasure is all
And you've
mine.
done great. And I've been listening to you since you've been on air.
Oh.
Well, when I came to Ghana,
Right.
you were on air.
Right.
And you still,
Thank you.
you know.
Thank you. We thank God.
Yeah.
He does it. I don't. I just work under his command.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Good to have you here, man. Let's do it one more time. One more time. All right. Show out for the multimedia people.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Radio goddess, not of the year, of the century, Doreen Andoh. Put your hands together one more time. And stick around. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.